And welcome back to Hannity. The one and only tough guy, Alec Baldwin, back in the news, appeared in a New York City courtroom earlier today to face his alleged stalker, Genevieve Sabourin. Now, Baldwin claims that she emailed him, tweeted him, showed up at his home, harassed his wife. Then he broke down on the witness stand, and poor Alec was sobbing. Now, the two yelled at each other during the trial, and in typical fashion, Baldwin was heard telling reporters he hoped they choked to death on the way out. So is the breakdown for real? And what in the world's going on inside troubled actor Alec Baldwin's mind? Here with reaction, Post reporter Tara Palmieri, defense attorney for Genevieve, is with us. Todd Spodek is with us, and Fox & Friends' first co-host Ainsley Earhart. Now, you were there today.
Absolutely. I was there throughout the entire trial.
Okay, and I hear from other people that were there that they thought he was acting.
Well, he is a professional actor. I think that he put on a show today, and he wanted to portray himself and their relationship in a certain light. And I think he attempted to do a good job, but I think ultimately he was discredited, and I think it's apparent they had a relationship. It was more than just a professional relationship. There are emails that go to personal issues. And
How personal?
Well, there was nothing explicit, but certainly emails that only friends or people that know each other quite well would share with each other. He was sharing his schedule, where he was going to be, giving her advice about other lovers in her life, things like that. Things that professional people wouldn't necessarily do.
Isn't that nice of Alec to offer such comforting advice? Tara, you've had a run-in with Alec. I've had my share of run-ins with Alec. He's nuts. I mean, he can't shut off words with friends, screaming at his daughter, screaming at me. You followed this guy. You reported on him. What do you know about him?
Right. He's just an unhinged rageaholic. You can't get in Alec's way. He just has more energy than anyone you've ever met, and he'll throw it at you if you question him at all. I was polite to him. I asked him a simple question about a lawsuit that was filed against his wife, and within seconds he grabbed me and said he wanted me to choke to death. And I was alarmed, and I backed away because I'm not used to being attacked on the job.
Really?
So,
well, we actually have a full screen, what was in the New York Post, and it actually said the 30 Rock star grabbed reporter Tara Palmieri by her arm and told her, "I want you to choke to death." He actually said the same words today to the reporters.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, both sides, these two might actually need to date and go together because, you know, women. There's that stereotype that women are so crazy. You always heard that when you were dating, that men said women are crazy. Well, this is not helping our case any. I mean, this girl, not only is she showing up at his New York City apartment, showing up at his Hamptons house, sitting front row at a movie screening, hundreds of voicemails and emails, and this has been going on for years, showed up the day he got engaged, but yet he's not innocent either. He's taking the stand, crying one minute, threatening to choke a reporter the next minute. He's trying to play the victim card. And also, why did he, my question was, why did he let this go this far? He's not the first celebrity to have a stalker. Why couldn't a big fat check take care of this? Why did he let it go so far?
Would a check have solved the problem you're working for?
Absolutely not. I mean, the issue is he took the stand today and said definitively he wanted her to stop contacting him. And then he emailed her, and the proof is there, from 2011 in the beginning all the way to January 2012.
But
when
you
did he get
represent
married?
her?
Go ahead. 2012.
He got married in 2012,
Yeah.
had the baby this past August. You represent her, but don't you think that there's a point when a woman knows he doesn't like me anymore, so I'm not going to continue to pursue. I'm not going to show up at his house. I'm not. He was
By the way,
engaged,
I was an
and
expert
she's
at this
showing
when
up
I
at the
dated.
house.
When a girl doesn't like me anymore.
It hurts my heart when girls act like this. She shouldn't. I mean, you represent
No,
her.
listen, I could understand where you're coming from, but this case, they had some form of relationship, and she certainly expressed her interest to him, and if he didn't want to, he knows how to say, leave me alone. He has an assistant.
He did. He had her arrested.
Well, he had her arrested ultimately, but a year went by before he had her arrested, and he maintained those ties and those contacts.
This is taxpayer dollars. We're spending $500,000 so far in court on this. It's just ridiculous.
Well, that's a question for the DA's office. Ultimately, they could have dismissed the charges. They could have worked out some sort of resolution that all parties would have agreed to. But the resolution that they offered, we weren't.
I have experienced this guy's rage firsthand. We had a Twitter fight one time, and his daughter sees this and asked me. She didn't ask her father to stop. And I said, okay, if the kid's father is, you know, if the girl is going to ask me to stop, I stopped. He still keeps going. He still attacks me, and I'm like, why don't you ask your own dad to stop for once, because he's fighting with everybody. You've experienced his rage firsthand. Are you afraid of him when you cover him?
He thinks that he's God. He thinks that he's immune to everything and that everyone around him, that we're not people. So I think that you have to have a certain sensitivity when dealing with Alec Baldwin in any capacity, especially as a reporter, since he has something against the press.
Well, then how do you explain the plane having to go back because he won't shut off his stupid electronics?
He just doesn't have respect for other people. He doesn't think of them as
Sounds like
his
he's nuts.
equals. He thinks he's God.
Yeah, well, that would do it, right? What do you think, Ains?
I just think, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to pass judgment because I'm not.
I do. Go ahead.
Listen, you can't
know.
walk out on the street without anyone recognizing you, but I'm sure it's difficult if you're that famous to be. Paparazzi's always around you. I covered Britney Spears for your show years
you
ago,
did.
and I followed the paparazzi. I mean, I was scared for
Crazy.
my life.
I would argue, though, that the paparazzi is not always following Alec Baldwin around. On very rare occasions when he's in the news, are there reporters or photographers around him. He's not waking up day to day
But
with
I've
people on
also
his doorstep.
experienced, to a much smaller degree, and I have found if you shake their hand, say hi, give them a comment, they leave you alone.
Even a no comment is fine.
Yeah.
There's a way to be respectful.
Be
People
respectful.
are also doing their job.
They're doing their job.
Exactly.
And listen, whether they like it or not, if you're in the public eye, it goes with the territory.
Right.
Right.
You chose
and you're
that life.
famous. You're
Yeah, you
famous
chose that
partly
life.
because of your reporting.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
wouldn't be getting Capital One deals if
All right.
he wasn't in the press.
Alec needs to grow up. All right. Would you settle for money at this point?
Well, that would be illegal because there are criminal cases pending, so we wouldn't be able to settle
Are you
for
going to
money.
sue him?
I have no intention of suing, but I do have an intention of having my client acquitted.
You need to tell your client to stop standing up in courtroom. She's standing up in the courtroom
I know.
screaming, liar, liar!
She's emotional. She's heartbroken from his actions.
Listen,
and she
she
can't.
Poor girl,
thank
poor
God
girl.
she's nowhere near this man, for
Right?
crying out loud. All right. And coming up next.